Welcome back to Fairy Tale Anime Review, Part 7B. Yep. This is reviewing uh, the Eternal Spirits arc. Yeah, an arc that was actually shorter than, well, the previous arc of the series, the Grand Magic Games thing. This one takes up episodes 204 to 226 of the season. Yeah. It's called The Eternal Celestial Spirits. Yeah. The arc starts off with an episode that's pretty much a standalone. It's kind of like a prelude to what comes. Basically, it's just, well, Lucy and Yonko just, well, having their spirits having a day off just because they're celebrating because they helped close the Eternal Gate they did in the previous arc, so they decided to have them just grant whatever wish they wanted. Virgo wanted to be punished, so Lucy did the least punishable thing. She just flicked her forehead, and apparently she liked it. Tauros is basically just got a good look, and he got away. Let's see. Loki asked Yonko out on a date. Let's see. Aquarius was the last one. She wanted to be, she wanted Lucy to make her laugh. I'm trying to think who else was. Oh yeah, Capricorn basically did a poem. I'm trying to think that was okay. Libra, she didn't do very much. She just did some special dance, and she just had to crush them, and that was really it. Yeah, it's a really kind of oddball episode. Yeah, but it was a pretty good episode nonetheless. But episode 205 begins this actual arc off, basically where Natsu, Lucy, and Happy are on a mission to go to this particular town, which later revealed not to actually exist at all. And they fight some creature, and Lucy tries to summon the spirits. They just kept saying no, and then they summon the guy who looks like a cross, who Lucy calls Grandpa Crux, and apparently he had been, when he showed up, he was beating the crap out of by what happened with the Zodiac had become corrupted, and Virgo basically, instead of wearing the maid's outfit, she acts like a dominatrix. Then later on they show what happened to the air spirits. Like Libra looks like the traditional Libra with the whole blindfold of the eyes. Let's see what else. Leo, aka Loki, wearing an armor and ditched the glasses. Aquarius looks like a little girl instead of a mermaid. Scorpion looks like a teenager who basically is obsessed with card games. Yeah. Capricorn is shorter than he usually is. Tauros is no longer the pervy guy he was, and he basically wears a suit and reads a book and wears a bull mask for some reason. Yeah, it's never explained why he does that. Pisces has a different look, where the mother is pretty much a shark, and the guy is simply just like a fish man. I'm trying to think, what were the other ones? Let me think. Of the 12 spirits, let's see. Did I get everybody? Oh yeah, Aquarius. Not Aquarius. Aries had the very least change. Oh yeah, her change is that her skin is darker. Well, after of course Natsu gave her a suntan, has a chain around her neck, and she wears shade, and she wears like very weird glasses. That's it. Yeah, she was the one who changed the least out of all of them. Yeah, it's very bizarre. And I'm trying to think, was there any other spirit I missed? Out of the 12 spirits of the Zodiac, I think I got all of them. I can think of anyways. And they all fight him, of course. They even have one episode where Natsu goes to Celestial and beats it. It gets to a fight with Taurus, and then he gets knocked out. Of course, Virgo, well, they're trying to figure out what their plan was. Basically, just do this special thing to get their freedom. And Virgo follows Lide, Wendy, Carla, and Lucy to the spiritual library. Basically, it's a giant tower of a library, which they introduced during the filler arc they did during season 5. So it was nice they brought this thing back. And the one we know Virgo is basically she's there is basically all the noise she's making. Basically the whole thing with holes. Yeah, Virgo has an obsession with making holes all over the place. And also she has obsession with punishment. Yeah. Of course, later on, they do get what they're looking for, and she takes it. Of course, Lucy fights her most of the way. Let's see. Though, basically, it's mostly the golden keys are affected. The silver keys are fine. Yeah, all the silver keys, Celestial Spirits, are perfectly fine. Just the gold ones are heavily affected. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Cancer. Yeah, instead of a guy, basically, who wears, like, a crab costume, and he has scissors, he's got claws for hands. And he's got an afro, and he's obsessed with dancing. Yeah. I'm like, seriously? Yeah. And of course, I think of the globe, they figure out exactly what they want to do. They want to get this so-called liberation. And they go to this place, it's called Spiritual Aquarius. Of course, on the way there, they run into the Princess of Fiora and her, well, basically her protector, which is the colonel of the army. Yeah, and they're basically going around wearing a pumpkin mask. Yeah, which is basically her punishment that she got at the end of the previous arc, which she had to work for. Apparently, she's wearing it now just to see what her father's obsession is wearing this pumpkin mask, though it's a different one that he wore. And it's also revealed that she's actually a celestial wizard, which, okay, that's actually quite interesting. Also, it was revealed also when Virgo was in that tower that Yonko apparently, since the last arc, has basically undergone combat training, so she knows how to fight now. Which I'm like, okay, that's actually quite interesting. And it turns out the way to stop the spirits is use these keys to simply force close their gates. And they go to the after they go to a particular place to, well, seal their gates. And of course also driven by Mira Jade. Well, basically the initial group that goes out is just Urza, Gray, Natsu, Lucy, Carla, and Happy. They're the initial group that goes out. But they're later joined by Mira Jade, Elfman, Julia. I'm trying to think, was anybody else joining them? No, I think that was it. Yeah, and each one took a special key. Elfman went to take on Tauros. Wendy took on Aquarius. Oh, Carla joined him as well. Carla took on Scorpio. Let's see. Of course, Natsu took on Leo because, well, he wanted to pay him back. Lucy takes on Virgo. Yonko takes on Libra. Mira Jade takes on Pisces. Julia takes on Aries. Gray, for some reason, decided to go after Cancer. Oh, and the way he beats him is a dance-off. I'm like, seriously, a dance-off? Oh, Leve is also with him as well. Yeah, she was traveling with them. And she goes after Capricorn. And apparently, her challenge to beat him is beating him in a trivia game. Of course, they also do a nod to the filler arc when they reference Michelle, the doll who became a woman during that arc. There's a reference to her. Apparently, her birth name was Gonzalez, which I'm like, okay, are they retconning something? It's really bizarre, because I could have sworn that that she was called Michelle, and for some reason they retconned it to say, oh yeah, it's Gonzalez. And apparently Capricorn somehow knows this. And when they get to the last question, it's quite hilarious. Like, who does Leve like? Seriously like? And the viewers kind of know the answer. It's Gonjal. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Gonjal is here as well. He takes on Gemini. Yeah, I almost forgot. Gemini basically, I kind of forgot about them. They turn into a little boy and little girl. And they obsession with since their power is transforming stuff, they transform Gonjal and Panther Lily into hamsters. And then they change the various spirits. And then later on they're defeated, and he just touched the key on the forehead, and that's it. Now the first one to be defeated is Tauros. Yeah, how Elfman defeats him is one of the most grossest way I've ever seen, basically, a character get defeated. basically Tauros, because he's so much of a gentleman in this form, he doesn't like sweat, so Elfman just gets on top of him and just has a sweat drop all over him, and then he's like, "Oh, sweat! Wait, let's clean my hands up." Yeah, and then he defeats him. Mira Jade just defeats Pisces in one of our transformations. Let's see. Yonko and Lucy take a while to defeat their respective, spirits that they're battling. Like, Lucy takes a while to defeat Virgo, and Yonko takes a while to defeat Libra. Julia defeats Ares. Now, Ares, basically, she's in a desert, and because Julia is a water wizard, she kind of has weakness, and apparently she beats her basically while absorbing the radiator fluid, basically turns into water, which I'm like, okay, that's a bit bizarre. Oh yeah, and Ares drives around a magic mobile. First time I've seen one of these in a while. I think the last time I saw a magic mobile, and this was basically in the regular thing, I would probably say this is the first time one has been seen since season 1. Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen one of these magic mobiles. And for those, basically, someone forgot what these things do, they kind of act like regular cars, but they're powered by magic, basically by the driver. And instead of like a regular steering wheel like a normal car does, they drive with a kind of like a joystick. Yeah, it's a lever, which after a while is exhausting. Excuse me. Yeah. Of course, there's also a 13th spirit, who apparently is a snake, and apparently she's the 13th zodiac, which a lot of people question the fact, like, why are there 13? I thought there was 12. Yeah. Okay, Leve defeats Capricorn with trivia. Kana defeats Scorpio in a card game, a magic card game, where Scorpio can summon anyone of the zodiac, and Carla gets to summon anybody from her guild. And the way she wins is by summoning her father. Her strongest card is her father, the strongest man in the guild. And she's like, "Oh, why'd you call me daddy?" And he's like, I don't want you, I can't call you that because you left mom." Yeah, that's the reason why she won't call him that, because basically he left her mom. Yeah, it's quite a hilarious moment. And there's even a card that allows Gray to go shirtless, which I'm like, that's weird. And there's also a card to summon, basically they had a special card to summon both Gray and Julia at the same time. And the whole thing with like 3 happies. And of course summoning Natsu. It's one of the most hilarious games I have ever seen basically play. It kind of reminded me of Yu-Gi-Oh! In a way. Especially all the cards we discard to the spiritual graveyard, aka the card graveyard. And instead of starting out with 5 cards like Yu-Gi-Oh! Does, this one starts off with 6. And the reason why that Scorpion chose this, because, well, Kana's good at card games. Okay. Let's see. Aquarius is defeated, well, not exactly defeated per se. Wendy basically just basically dodges all of her attacks. And then later on, Wendy saves her life from being, well, crushed. Of course, Natsu ends up getting into that particular world by some strange spiritual means. It's later explained it's actually the spiritual king who did this. Even Leo, basically, I looked at his reaction. I'm surprised no one talked about this. Leo's like, "What the heck is this?" Yeah, he has that reaction like, what is this? And nobody brings that up. The fact that Leo had the same expression that Natsu had, basically the surprise expression. Oh, yeah. And Leo, basically, his world is Mayan ruins. No, seriously, his world is consisted of Mayan pyramids. Don't know why. Virgo is basically in a mansion. Let's see. Libra is on top of basically look like distant basically dancing rocks. Yeah, that's basically her world. Gonjo's in a forest, and after he shows up, showing up basically takes like Gemini. It takes a few episodes to follow up on this because they just sit on this for a while. I mean, the only battles you actually see a lot of it in here is just, well, Yonko versus Libra, and of course Lucy versus Virgo. And then you have to see all the gates, and of course defeat the Snake Spirit. They're like, okay. Now, Gray defeats Cancer. basically by dancing him senseless. Yeah. And of course, he's kind of resistant dancing and then cancer or opens up his heart dancing. And he puts on a hat, which I'm like, okay, where did he get that hat from? Basically this white hat. And then after Gray wins and his heart's basically and he goes back normal, the hat just disappears. And Gray just like, okay, he's like, what the heck happened? He's like, oh no, everything is coming back to me. And Julia the whole time is wondering what the heck Gray is up to. Yeah. But some of these little things, basically, some of these battles are just plain hilarious. And then later on they take on the Spiritual King. And most of the group is turned into... the princess basically goes into the 13th gate. Now, she doesn't seal up anybody. She just walks in and does some investigating, trying to figure out what is going on. Yeah, it turns out the reason why that the spirits are acting this way because Eclipse Gate corrupted them. Yeah, that's the reason why. And then they take on the Spiritual King, which he looks like a big glob, and it turns out he's actually inside of himself, which is a bit bizarre. Yeah, Natsu is one who frees him, and most of the group except for Lucy, Ganjo, Urza, and Gray, and of course Natsu and Happy, with the exception of those guys, everyone else gets turned into constellations. Yep. And of course, they free the Celestial King and everything is turned back normal. And of course, all the Celestial Spirits renew their contracts with Lucia and Yanko. Interesting arc, what it is. Then after that, it's 8. Well, out of the 8 episodes that come after this, all but 2 of them are standalone episodes. Like, one apparently is something that Locke did prior to the Grand Magic Games. Apparently caused a lot of lightning to pop up around this town. And he takes it out, and it turns out the mayor is behind everything, and yeah, he basically sort of blackmails him, just gets angry with him. Basically, he demolishes part of his house. But he stops his attack when he realizes, oh, the guy does have a kind heart because, well, he has a granddaughter to take care of. There's a bunch of episodes where just Lucy, Natsu, and Happy just go on missions. Like, one to get some ice, which is a really weird one. One of them I thought was really interesting when Julia basically is trying to give Gray a gift. And she tries to think of many things, and she comes across a scarf to give him. And, of course, he kind of rejects it first. And then later on, he basically regrets and picks it and takes the scarf out of the snow and puts it on. It's like, hey, this is warm. And the whole point of the episode is called the 413th anniversary, 413 days since they first met. Which I'm kind of like, it's been longer than that because of the 7-year jump. I don't know, it's really weird. And then Julia decides to do something really bizarre after they apologize to her after Gray apologized for being rude to her, because on that particular day, and it's explained by Leon that that's the day of basically Leon Gray's master dying. Yeah, basically anniversary of her death. That's the reason why he was mopey. And then even though he accepts the scarf, he kind of basically turns away the life-size pillow of Julia. It's like really bizarre. Though the animation kind of reminds me of the last, because it was snow. The episode stuff reminds me a little bit of basically how Nada was shown at the start of the last, where she's basically knitting a scarf and then later gives it to, well, the guy she's in love with. Though in the case of Naruto, he actually accepts the gift later on after finding out about the scarf. Gray turns down at first, then he basically regrets his decision. Yeah, interesting episode. There's also one where Natsu babysits basically Biscuit's daughter. Let's see if I can find it here. Asuka and Biscuit, Asuka, yes, spend the whole day basically just babysitting her, and I guess they figure though, why not get a lead with Natsu? After all, he's even though, yeah, and it was kind of this episode was kind of fun, especially since they try to do a shoot off, which Natsu loses, and they have to do he has to do everything that she says for a whole day, and they go on various jobs, and they want to basically get this special snow globe that their family used to have, but they had to pawn off. It's revealed in a flashback that the reason why they had to pawn it off her parents pawned out this particular snow globe was to pay for Asa's basically medical bills. That's the reason why they actually pawned it off. And they're actually quite surprised that their daughter basically got enough money to buy this thing back, because they went on various jobs across the city. Even Naruto told, I'm thinking Naruto, not Naruto, basically, it wasn't any dangerous jobs that they went on, basically, and she raised that money just to get to, they basically, Happy found just basically low-level jobs that basically pay a good amount, and she got the money. She's like, hey, did you bring back some gifts? Yeah, we did. She's like, I got a gift for you, and it's a snow globe. And they're actually quite surprised. It's actually revealed they actually got that snow globe after the first job together, which I'm like, okay, that's actually quite interesting. And this episode was just pure fun at its heart. It just, like, the whole point of the episode is just Natsu hanging out with a little girl, just having fun. Yep, let's see. I'm trying to think there was anything else. Oh yeah, there was an episode where Natsu and Happy went Mayor Jade to transformation, and the two older guys of the guild, Mako and Juan, basically, they wanted to do transformations too. And this episode, I watched this episode, and I'm like, okay, I don't get why. Now, Urza, Ganjo, Wendy, and Panther go to a boutique shop, and they basically try on various clothes. And for some reason, I have no idea why Ganjo did this. He put on a costume that's reminiscent of Batman, and Panther decided to call himself Fairy Boy, and Ganjo, I think he called himself, this is also in the very same episode. He called himself like Fairyman, and Urza basically became Fairy Woman. It is so hilarious. Now, there's at one point in the episode when the snow globe that Natsu and I basically bought back got stolen, and then basically she tried to shoot it off, and basically Natsu uses fire to sort of light up her little cork gun. Basically, it fires corks and basically blasted the thieves. And they got it back. I'm surprised the thing didn't break after falling from that height, because these guys were getting away on gliders. Yeah. But then Urza realized, though, that she could put on a scary face to basically scare people. Yeah, it's so really weird. Nothing much else for that episode. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. There was one episode with Locks, is basically the whole town thing. Yeah, okay, I've already talked about this one, okay. There's a two-parter, and the only two-parter throughout these Aftermath episodes, this arc, where, Natsu gets this creature that hatches from an egg, and he goes asking a wall, basically there's a guild exchange, and they go various scales. First Blue Pegasus, then Lamia Scale, then Mermaid Hill, then they go to Sabretooth and apparently have all the ruckus they caused. Though a couple times it was Gray causing their ruckus. The first time it was Natsu. The second and third time it was Gray. Well, basically Gray by smashing tablets, and then Gray basically ripping off. And this is what I thought was really weird. Apparently, Mermaid Hill's job is to have for Natsu and Gray is to dress in drag. No, seriously, they put him in dresses and had wear wigs. And Gray got fed up with it, and they didn't cause any damage this time, surprisingly. And Urza basically, well, and of course Melina, I think her name is, the one who loves cats. Yeah, she was like squeezing Happy while cooking a fish. Yeah, a big fish. And Kagura basically was kind of embarrassed to be, because apparently Kagura wanted to basically want Urza to kind of like be her sister, because, well, her brother's gone and because she saved her life, so yeah, that's kind of the reason why. And then when they get to Sabretooth after they leave, because, well, all the ruckus that Gray caused, they get to Sabretooth and the exchange is canceled due to a strange island popping up out of nowhere. And they go to the island, and there's and basically Sabretooth, and the only people from Sabretooth going is just, and this is a bit bizarre, just Rogue and Uh, I kind of forgot his name. I don't know why I keep forgetting the guy's name. Uh, it's Rogue, and I think it's. Let's see. I'm trying to remember the guy's name. I keep forgetting the guy's name. Uh, Sting. I keep forgetting the guy's name. Sting. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, can they just throw in Yonko as well because she's part of the guild? Why just these two? And yet, you have 5 fairy tale members. Well, 6 if you include basic. Well, it's just Gray, Urza, Natsu, and Lucy with. Oh yeah, and Wendy along with Happy and Carla. Well, actually, Wendy and Carla come later. I'm kind of like, couldn't they throw in a couple more people from the guild, like maybe Yonko? Nope. And the whole point of this, well, basically the creature they call Kano, and he Natsu is basically asking like if he's seen this creature before. And like no, and it's later revealed that that apparently this creature is actually a protector of this island that pops up every 1,000 years or so. And he sort of sacrifices him. Everyone gets, of course, during the course of this, everyone gets ill except for Lucy, Natsu, and Happy because, well, they were inhuman this gas. And later on, of course, while they're taking a sea serpent, mind you, of course, Urza manages to slice out part of its tail. And, of course, the guy who's the head of the custody unit, first time he shows up in the series since the Grand Magic Games arc, and Dorbolt, also first time since the Grand Magic Games arc. They basically show up for this 2-parter, and then after this 2-parter, I'm not sure, they're probably going to come back, but yeah. And then, of course, the last episode is Fairy Tale of the Dead Man. Yeah, the whole point of this episode is just basically there's a... Yeah, it's like, okay, let's have a version of The Walking Dead, but instead of having everybody turn to zombies, let's have it turn to pretty much the same character. Ichigo, I think his name is correct. Let's see, what is... I think his name is Ichigo. Ichiya, yeah. Ever comes Ichigo and basically everyone says, man, and just does sniff, sniff. And that apparently turns them into all Ichigo character, all Ichigo people. Yeah, it's really weird. And everybody gets turned into them except for Natsu, Happy, Lucy, Wendy, and Carla. And here's kind of the thing. The way that they cure this virus is by disinfecting spray that Urza gave Natsu in a flashback. Of course, they started the episode while helping out opening up a restaurant, basically a guy who was a friend of the Fairy Tale Guild. And of course, basically the girls is just basically just Lucy. It starts off with just Lucy, Carla, Wendy, Julia, and Urza. Now Lucy is wearing a bunny suit, and all the rest of the girls are basically wearing, well, waitress uniforms. And of course, Julia shows off the whole. Apparently, that there's actually a list of basically handsome guys in the Wizards, and apparently Gray made a list, which I'm kind of like, I'm not all that surprised because I'm sure a lot of ladies in the show, probably even female viewers, probably find that Gray is hot, Gray is attractive. So why not put him on the list? I'm surprised they mentioned if Natsu's on the list or not. Who knows? I mean, heck, he's shown up his physique a few times. And there's that one, because Lucy was wearing the bunny suit, apparently that blocked the smell, which even I thought that was weird. And they get out into the sewer, and apparently they're chased by Gonjal and Panther Lily, and they've been turned into the creatures, the things as well. And apparently, Natsu's Happy's best suggestion to hide is to hide in Lucy's bunny suit. and that thing gets ripped, and apparently Lucy was butt naked under that suit. Yeah, so the way she covers up, she takes Natsu's waistcoat. You know, the long coat with the one sleeve. Yeah, and she wears that for the rest of the episode. I'm not kidding. She does wear this thing for the rest of the episode. And Natsu just basically stuck wearing his pants and his sandals. Yeah. Though, it's kind of basically a minor recurring joke that Lucy gets basically... Also, I forgot to mention this. When they're trying to basically do a particular spell, Lucy, Yonko, and the princess, their clothes get torn up. Yeah, their clothes get torn up. And they're basically trying to hold their clothes together. Basically, their clothes are basically ripped to shreds while performing a spell to sort of basically destroy his globe. Yeah, this happens during the actual arc of the whole Eternal Spirits. And, yeah. I don't know if it's a recurring joke in the series, but Lucy always gets her clothes torn up in the series. Either in canon episodes or in filler. Natsu, on the other hand, hardly gets his clothes torn up per se. He does get some tears in his outfit, and a couple times in the show he's wearing this celestial attire, which he did also during the second season when the whole team up with take on the Ratian 6. He did it again in this particular arc where he and Lucy wore the same outfits they wore in that arc, and also Wendy also got the same attire she wore during the whole S-Class trials, and everybody got a chance to put on a special outfit. Yeah, everybody. And most of the women basically wore these like key things and like shoulder armor. Heck, even the Protector got a chance to wear celestial clothes. Yeah, and it's actually the Clock guy who popped up a few times across this particular arc, and he basically gave all the celestial clothes to go to the celestial world. Yeah, and also because they freed the Celestial King and never got returned back to normal. None of the Zodiac spirits remembered the fact they were basically corrupted. They had no memory of it at all, and they were all surprised to see everybody there. And basically, the Celestial King is like, okay, because you saved all of us, you owe us a great debt, and they returned them exactly when they left. Which, okay, why couldn't they do this before during when the last time they visited the Celestial World? Yeah, but. Otherwise, though, that's really it. This is a pretty good set of 23 episodes, though the actual main arc itself is only 14 episodes, with 9 other episodes that have really nothing to do with this particular arc as well. So basically, you have a prelude, the 14-parter, and then aftermath episodes. Alright? So that really pretty much wraps up this video. Stay tuned for Part 7C, which is the Sun Village arc. And this arc is only 7 episodes, so you might see the next video pop up in a couple hours. Okay? But until then, I will see you there. Bye.